Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to you on Business Today Television and on our special show, Market Gurus. Ladies and gentlemen, these are volatile times. Not only are they volatile, they are difficult as well as nations, economic blocs, countries go to war with each other on economics. The latest war is tariffs, as also their impact on global equities. To decipher where we are headed, we are now joined by Mr. Sanjay Sinha. He's the founder at Citrus Advisors, a man with considerable experience in the Indian equity markets. He's seen many bull and many bear markets over the last 30-35 years while working with L&T Mutual Fund, SBI Mutual Fund, UTI Mutual Fund, and of course, at Citrus Advisors, his founding company over the last 13 years. Namaste Sanjay ji, a very warm welcome to you. I wish I had something positive to say about markets at this point of time, and the reason to welcome you, sir, is to take a guide map to understand where we are headed over the next 6 months to 1 year against this backdrop of a massive war unleashed by the US on the rest of the world. How do you feel and how do you see the next 6 months?
So, if you look at things in the Indian context, I think there are two things which are happening together. We've had almost 3 years of very strong sale flows in the market, and these flows have put up the valuations of a lot of stocks and a lot of sectors as far as India is. So that phenomena, to some extent, started unwinding from the early part of this calendar, and we saw the market correct very sharply. The correction has been more sharp in the case of the mid cap. So that phenomena is something that is still happening as far as the Indian markets are concerned. Simultaneously, there is this other thing that has developed over the last couple of days, which is tariffs that have been announced by Trump. Now, Shailendra, what normally happens is, even though we know that there is an event that is really happening, and there are certain amount of preparation and anticipation that gets built up in the run-up to the event, but when the event actually hits you, that is when you feel the full impact. So I think sheer magnitude of the tariff that has been imposed the world over, once that event has hit us, the impact is very much. Now, how will these two phenomena unfold for the next 6 months? I think the scenario is going to be very different as far as India is concerned. One part which has been also a pain as far as Indian markets are concerned is the fact that the earnings have been downgraded over the last quarter. Part of this downgrade started because the government was the largest spender on the capex front, went on the back foot along with the announcement. Following that, we had a very severe summer, and after that, we had a monsoon that was not spread across. All these factors led to earnings downgrade in India, and because of that, yes, it was somewhere close to 1270 for FY26, has now come down to a level of about 1200. So obviously, when you have earnings downgrade, the market levels will be, which is where we currently stand. And as I said at the outset, the mid cap and small cap, and also some sectors that overvalued. That overvaluation also to a large extent has got corrected of the last. From here onward, as far as India is, I think the fact that we are a more domestic oriented, number one. Number two, the fact that the government has again come on the front foot, and the outlook for rural consumption also. The budget is also giving a fillip. And last but not the least, the eighth pay commission is going to roll out for the large public sector government. So these I think are going to unfold over the next quarters are India specific and will act as a buttress against what world. Now, as far as the second phenomena is concerned, how will the tariff play out? It is a classic case of probably shooting yourself in the foot. And the way the American markets have reacted, both the bond market as well as the market, they seem to have given the clear signal that if the US does not take any corrective steps quickly, the US economy is getting hurt very hard. I guess given the fact that Donald Trump is a businessman first and politician next, he will see the utility of tariff on driving American economy in short run versus large economic impact that it is going to cause. And there could be a lot of rollbacks or adjustments. That will, in my opinion, give a relief rally to the world. So I guess the setting now is becoming much better as far as the self is concerned. The only challenge is that if you want to make money in the short term, that may be a
Yes, I understand that making money in the short term is now a very, very difficult proposition unless you are master at shorting futures or maybe taking a punt on the negative side. That seems to be working very well. Uh, Sinha Sahab, because of your very, very deep experience with equities, what are the two or three asset classes or sectors you feel provide comfort in terms of valuations and comfort in terms of growth? In this kind of a market, one would see margin of safety, therefore valuations will come handy, and probably growth in some or few sectors which seem to be positively impacted by US tariffs, or at least the least hurt. How do you want to navigate these two spaces?
So the obvious call tendency right now is to move towards more domestic oriented sectors. And within domestic oriented sectors, the ones which are leveraged on the government spending, because we find that the Union budget this year has again set out close to about 11 lakh crores of spending financial year 26, plus the pending spend of the last financial year gives an average run rate of close to about 1 lakh crores per month on infrastructure. So I think that is going to be a big sort of booster as far as the domestic economy. So the obvious choices would be on infrastructure oriented, and you also raise valuation. A lot of these equity companies have now come back and are trading their mid-teens to lower in terms of value, and they are sitting on order books that are almost 4 times their current annual revenue. So therefore, there is comfort in valuation, there is comfort in the size of the order book, and the fact that the platform is very big. So I guess that is one area of comfort. The other area of comfort, in my opinion, is banking and because there is now an admitted fact that the best of the net interest margin is now behind us. But the ground for credit growth is quite good. And this ground is becoming even better with the decline in the interest rate. But yesterday, one of the newspapers carried a headline saying that now the reduction in the RBI rates is actually trickling down into negative rates, and therefore I believe that whatever we might do in terms of net interest margin will probably gain or maybe gain more than what by way of the net interest income, because the credit growth will be then those ones. So that is the space that I see. And what is also reinforcing my view here is the fact that as economic activity expands, you will also see the demand for credit So that is the second of, I would say, opportunity. A third, in my opinion, is discretionary consumption. As impact of the Indian budget, the tax system for 12 lakh that is likely to flow into discretionary consumption. The first signal for that we get to what why because the IMD has predicted a very hot summer. So let's see how the appliances sector perform and what are the quick statistics come out from this sector to sort of reinforce this. So these are, in my opinion, the three very obvious winners. There could be some ups and downs. We saw pharma rally yesterday because there was no tariff. Today they have corrected significantly because there has been noise on the tariff. Let's see which way the tariff actually gets imposed on the pharma sector. This could be also something that could be, in my opinion, be relatively insulated unless, of course, Trump goes ahead and imposes a very high.
Fair point. I think these are some very, very interesting thought processes, especially on the private banking sector. What is really interesting is the kind of commentary that HDFC Bank has come up with today, in which there is a 5.5% increase in deposits quarter on quarter. This was perhaps the missing link which the market was looking at, and at a time when vast parts of the market are in pain, in particular pharma. It's the banks, particularly the private sector banks, that are offering hope to investors. HDFC Bank, for the moment, is holding forth up 2% in a market that seems to be crumbling at the moment. Sanjay Sinha, when you look at this flip-flop, yesterday pharma was spared. Today pharma has been hit again. How do you explain to new investors, how do you explain to existing investors as to where to seek safety? Are we well off in cash? What is Citrus's position in cash at the moment?
Our cash is sub 10% at this point of time. And very frankly, Shailendra, I don't think there will be safety in that, because if you just go back and see how the indices behaved in the month of March, after a very severe fall that we saw, the indices jumped up quite sharply in that month. So therefore, I guess, like I said at the outset, the challenge is to make money in the short term. But this is a very beautiful time to accumulate for the long. And therefore, we do not know where we will get the opportunity and in which sector the opportunity will come because of events or announcements. So, in my opinion, the best thing to do would be to have a very hard and a clear view on your stock. This is not a market that you can play on a top-down. This is a market that you need to play on a bottom-up basis, at least for the next 12 months. And here, there will be pockets of opportunities that will come up, both in terms of sectors and also in terms of stock. The events of January and February produced a very, very good opportunity to pick up many of these domestic focused industries at very attractive value. But if I can just quote this is performance, if you see in January, one of the most affected sector was defense. But in February, you got to pick up a few defense stocks at very attractive valuation. Thereafter, we had the government announcement of about a 1,000 crore procurement plan. Then we had a lot of other possibilities. The sector has again bounced back. I guess phenomena or factors like this will continue to play out in a lot of sectors. And one thing we need to sort of put as the base for our portfolio strategy, which is that the opportunity is going to be more India focused than export oriented. And the uncertainty that is playing out in the markets both locally and globally are more to do with export oriented industries and not so much from domestic oriented. And the fact that we are a domestic oriented economy and we are now seeing revival in domestic consumption, something that had been lacking in most parts of calendar year 2024, is the factor that is giving us so much more.
Uh, Sinha sahab, what you mentioned that in January, uh, defense was in terrible pain. In February, it started to look up. We could have picked them up. It is okay for nimble-footed players such as you. आपने बाजार देखा है, आपने दुनिया देखी है और आपको वैल्यूएशन समझ में आती है, लेकिन vast majority of the people in the market lack these three very basic skills which you can't learn from books. They come only by experience. और टाइम किसी के पास अभी है नहीं, लेकिन पैसे सब बनाना चाहते हैं। उनके लिए जो बाज़ार में नए आए हैं, आप कोई रूपरेखा बनाना चाहते हैं, कोई टाइम टेबल दिखाना चाहते हैं, कोई रास्ता सुझाएं कि भाई एक तो रात की नींद ठीक आए और दूसरा ठीक ठाक कंपाउंडिंग मिल जाए 13-14%। पहले तो लोग 13-14% महीने में देखते थे, अब अगर कोई साल का बता दें तो बड़ी मेहरबानी होगी।
तो देखिए शैलेंद्र जी, जो बाजार में नए आए हैं के लिए तो लाभ रहेगा ही, लेकिन आज सबसे ज्यादा महत्वपूर्ण है कि जो लोग कोविड के बाद बाजार में आए हैं उनकी जो मनोबल है उसको हम कैसे बनाए रखें। क्योंकि जो लोग कोविड के बाद आए उन्होंने कभी इतना ज्यादा करेक्शन हमारे मार्केट में देखा नहीं, और के आने के बाद अधिकतर स्टॉक्स में लोगों ने पैसे बनाए, अब बहुत कम स्टॉक्स में लोगों ने पैसे खोए। तो ये जो नशा लोगों के मन मस्तिष्क में चढ़ा हुआ है कि स्टॉक मार्केट में बड़ा आसानी से पैसा बन जाता है, हमें उस साइकोलॉजी को पहले एड्रेस करने की। आप जानते हैं शैलेंद्र जी की पिछले 3-4 सालों में बहुत सारे बिजनेसमैन हैं जिन्होंने अपने बिजनेस पर ध्यान देना छोड़ दिया और सारा का सारा ध्यान उन्होंने स्टॉक मार्केट में देना, और इसके कारण थोड़ी बहुत क्षति तो बिजनेस की भी हुई होगी। हाँ, तो ये जो अभी का माहौल है ये सबसे बड़ा है। क्या इस माहौल में वो बाजार छोड़ के चले जाएंगे? अगर वो छोड़ के चले जाएंगे तो ये संभव है कि जितने नए लोग आ रहे हैं उतने ज्यादा मात्रा में बाजार को बढ़ावा नहीं देंगे जितनी बड़ी मात्रा में जो लोग बाजार छोड़ के जा रहे हैं। तो सबसे बड़ी जो सीख इस बाजार में लोगों को लेने की जरूरत है कि स्टॉक मार्केट में कभी कभी अवसर आते हैं जब छोटे समय में बड़े बड़े मुनाफे हो जाते हैं, लेकिन स्टॉक मार्केट में जैसा कि क्लासिक कहा गया है ना, इट इज नॉट द टाइमिंग बट योर टाइम इन द मार्केट दैट। तो जब आप कैलेंडर ईयर 2026 में पलट कर बाजार को देखेंगे तब पाएंगे कि अरे उस समय तो हम बाजार में हताश थे और हम बाजार से दूर रहे और हमने कुछ पैसे बना सकते थे उस समय जो हमने नहीं बनाए। ऐसा लोगों ने कोविड के समय में भी सोचा था। तो ये बाजार में जो ऑलरेडी है उनके लिए मेरा ये संदेश है। लेकिन जो लोग नए आ रहे हैं बाजार में, मेरे ख्याल से ये जो निवेशक हैं ना शैलेंद्र जी, ये बाजार के बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग फाउंडेशन वाले निवेशक होंगे, क्योंकि ये जो जिस वॉलेटाइल बाजार में आ रहे हैं और जिस मनोस्थिति में वो बाजार में आ रहे हैं वो बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग विल के साथ बाजार में अगर घुस रहे हैं तो उनके लिए अगर टाइम वाइज स्प्रेड करना है तो मेरे ख्याल से देखिए ये बाजार जो है किसी भी समय शॉर्ट टर्म में इवेंट से प्रभावित होता है, मीडियम टर्म में लिक्विडिटी से प्रभावित होता है और लॉन्ग टर्म में वैल्यूएशन से प्रभावित। आज बाजार की जो उथल पुथल है उसमें काफी हद तक वैल्यूएशन फैक्टर हो। लिक्विडिटी हमने देखा कि पिछले महीने के सेकेंड हाफ में FIIs की नंबर के उसने बड़ा बाजार को बढ़ावा दिया। और सबसे महत्वपूर्ण बात कि जो डोमेस्टिक इन्वेस्टर है अपने एसआईपी के द्वारा, अदरवाइज लमसम के द्वारा म्यूचुअल फंड में अपना विश्वास बनाए। तो लिक्विडिटी एज अ फैक्टर अभी neutral मान लें। जो शॉर्ट टर्म का फैक्टर है इवेंट, वो बहुत नेगेटिव। तो अगर हमें बाजार में और हमें 100 रुपए लगाने
जी
हैं कैलेंडर ईयर 2025 में, तो ये जो इवेंट्स के कारण जो नेगेटिव पोजीशन क्रिएट हो रहा है, मेरे ख्याल से जो एक प्रिंसिपल है दैट बाई ऑन डिप, एक निफ्टी के लेवल को आप निर्धारित कर लीजिए कि आप इस लेवल के नीचे जब भी बाजार रहेगा, आप बाजार में अक्यूमुलेट करेंगे। तो मैं समझता हूँ इस इवेंट्स का फायदा उठाकर आपके 100 रुपए में से
करेक्ट
60 रुपया जो है वो आप अगले 3 से 4 महीने में आप।
जी। सिन्हा साहब, कहाँ से आप बिल्कुल परे रह रहे हैं? कहाँ आपको लगता है कि भाई ना वैल्यू है इस प्राइस पे, ना कहीं ग्रोथ के लक्षण हैं, इसीलिए मैं ना इसमें नया पैसा लगाऊंगा, और अगर पुराना पैसा पड़ा है तो पड़ा रहने दो, वरना जयराम जी की।
तो एक स्पेस ऐसा है जो फास्ट मूविंग कंज्यूमर गुड्स है पेपर। तो ये इसमें जो कंपनीज हैं उनकी वैल्यूएशन बहुत में एक हमने उछाल देखा जब बजट के अनाउंसमेंट आए। मैंने तभी कहा था कि वैल्यूएशन पर इस तरह का ग्रोथ होने की संभावना नहीं है कि इस वैल्यूएशन को जस्टिफाई किया जाए। तो इसके इनमें आपको छोटी मोटी उछाल दिखेगी, लेकिन मेरे ख्याल से इनके जो हेडेज है वो खत्म हो गए। और इस वैल्यूएशन पर अगर आप उठाएंगे तो आपको शायद न्यू रेट ऑफ ग्रोथ वाली रिटर्न्स मिलने की संभावना है। कुछ सेंसेशनल रिटर्न आपको कम। तो ऐसा एक स्पेस है, लेकिन मैं समझता हूँ कि मैं तो दूर। और दूसरा स्पेस है जो मैं समझता हूँ कि बहुत ज्यादा वॉलेटाइल है और इसके कारण शायद सही चुनाव करना मुश्किल हो, वो होगा मेरे ख्याल से मेटल्स का। क्योंकि जिस तरह से ग्लोबल इकोनॉमी इधर से उधर घूम रही है, किस करवट ये लेटेगा ये क्लियर नहीं। तो मैं समझता हूँ कि थोड़ी क्लैरिटी जब तक आ जाए तब तक इससे को समझा जाए और ज्यादा संजीदगी के साथ डिसीजन लिया जाए तो बेटर है, क्योंकि इसमें मुनाफा बनने के भी चांसेस है। जब अगर कमोडिटी के प्राइसेस की अगर बुल की तो वो कई साल तक रन कर। हमने थोड़ा बहुत उछाल देखा स्टील के प्राइसेस में, लेकिन फिर वो भी अब धीरे धीरे कमजोर पड़ रहा है। सिमिलरली नॉन फेरस मेटल के भी प्राइसेस तो टैरिफ के अनाउंसमेंट के बाद वो भी थोड़े बहुत ऊपर नीचे करना शुरू कर। तो मैं समझता हूँ कि इसको थोड़ा समझने के बाद ही मैं प्रवेश करूंगा, अभी इमीडिएटली।
सिन्हा साहब, एक इत्तफाकन तो नहीं, एक हकीकत ये हुई कि हम सब जो दुनिया भर की ज्ञान समझते रहते हैं और बातें करते रहते हैं, एक भारतीय गृहिणी ने हम सबको पिछाड़ दिया। मैं बात कर रहा हूँ सोने की। और इतना ज़बरदस्त गोल्ड में उछाल आया है कि मैं समझता हूँ किटी पार्टीज़ में आजकल यही चर्चा होती रहती होगी कि भाई मैंने क्या ख़रीदना है और मैंने क्या ख़रीदा। अब बताइए, इस लेवल पर 90-91 हज़ार रुपये तोला गोल्ड पार कर चुका है, अभी भी लेना बनता है इस बैकड्रॉप में कि ट्रम्प साहब तो मतलब कुछ भी कर सकते हैं अब?
तो देखिए, सोने का भाव हमेशा इकोनॉमिक अनसर्टिनिटी से रिलेटेड। जब जब इकोनॉमिक अनसर्टिनिटी बढ़ी है तब तक सोने का भाव स्ट्रॉन्ग। आज 60% प्रोबेबिलिटी है यूएस इकोनॉमी रिसेशन की तरफ जाए। अगर वो सिनेरियो एक्चुअली प्ले आउट हो जाता है तो सोने का डिमांड एज अ डिफेंसिव एसेट क्लास बना रहेगा। तो और दूसरी बात ये कि अब बहुत सारे सेंट्रल बैंकर्स हैं जो कि अपनी रिजर्व्स में भी गोल्ड की खरीदारी बढ़ा रहे हैं। तो ओवरऑल डिमांड का सिनेरियो तो देखिए बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग। ग्लोबल इकोनॉमिक अनसर्टेनिटी का माहौल अच्छा है। तो ये दोनों अगर फैक्टर्स एक साथ बने रहेंगे तो गोल्ड का डिमांड अगर कम नहीं होता है तो फिर प्राइस कम। मैं समझता हूँ कि गोल्ड इक्विटी को लॉन्ग टर्म में आउट परफॉर्म करे, इस पर मैं अभी भी गृहिणों से डिबेट करने के लिए तैयार हूँ। हाँ, लेकिन नो डाउट हाल के आंकड़े जो है उसने जरूर दिखाया है, खास करके अगर आप पास फाइनेंशियल ईयर ही देख लें तो गोल्ड ने तो इक्विटी को इतने जोर से आउट परफॉर्म किया है। लेकिन ऐसे ऐसे फेजेस हमेशा आते हैं। हाँ, लंबे समय में मैं नहीं समझता कि गोल्ड
इतनी सटीक, इतनी सरल, इतनी अच्छी और इतनी कॉमन सेंसिकल राय देने के लिए सिन्हा साहब आपका बहुत बहुत आभार। बशर्ते 2025 एक दर्दनाक हादसे के साथ शुरू हुआ है, ये उम्मीद करते हैं कि आने वाला समय अच्छा होगा और इन्हीं उम्मीदों के साथ आपका बहुत बहुत आभार और धन्यवाद। आप आए, समय निकाला और चर्चा करी।
थैंक यू सो मच, थैंक यू फॉर हैविंग।
It was our pleasure, sir. That, ladies and gentlemen, was Mr. Sanjay Sinha, founder at Citrus Advisors, a gentleman who has seen many a bull and a bear market in the last 30-35 years. He advocates caution, patience, and more importantly, spending quality time in the markets with quality products, as also investing piecemeal and continue investing in the markets in small portions. I hope you enjoyed the show. There's a lot that's happening on the other side of the break. Please continue watching Business Today Television.
The three big takeaways since last night: Donald Trump has fired the